Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Danial Haiqal bin Saidi. I'm from class 6 BME 3, bachelor degree mechanical engineering. My title for this video is Road to Recovery Post-Pandemic. So we start with the background history of the recovery of post-pandemic. So the alarming spread of the coronavirus infection COVID-19 has halted the world, especially hitting the tourism and hospitality industry most severely. Unexpected travel restrictions and border closures for most countries across the world have caused millions of livelihood and jobs lost. In the tourism and hospitality sector alone, 100 million jobs were already lost and putting more than 197 million people more jobs at the risk, along with an estimated loss of 5.5 trillion of travel and tourism gross domestic product in the current year due to prolonged travel restrictions and movement control order imposed by the nations. In Malaysia, the MCO was imposed by the government on 18 March 2020 and currently in the recovery movement control order stage until 31st December 2020. These actions are taken to curb the spread of this disease. The Malaysia economy is undergoing a strong but uneven recovery following the nationwide lockdown in March and April. The ongoing resurgence of COVID-19 infections has weakened the recovery momentum healing into the final quarter of 2020. However, proactive and calibrated policies are helping to protect the welfare of vulnerable groups and revitalize the economy. This is according to the preliminary assessment by the Asian Macroeconomic Research Office after its virtual annual consultation with the Malaysian authorities from November 16 to December 4, 2020. Okay, we talk about the current issues of post-pandemic. The Transport Minister said the issues included lifting quarantine requirements for vaccinated travellers to most countries, gradually removing testing requirements, including allowing antigen tests for entry to some countries, and easing visa or entry permit requirements to most countries. Domestically, Malaysia had lifted its cross-state borders, allowing the people in Malaysia to travel the country and later ensure the economy continue its growth to all sectors. Okay, we'll talk about the future road to recovery of post-pandemics. Usually, predicting the future is never a safe bet. There are two major axes at work here. One is the speed with which the world recovers from the economic consequences of COVID-19. And the other is the speed with which we put the virus out of its misery. Secondly, it's clear that the virus is lasting much longer than we all hoped it would back in March or April of last year. It's equally clear that the speed at which vaccines have been developed has surprised a lot of people. Business travel will take longer to recover, and even then we estimate it will only likely to recover to around 80% of pre-pandemic levels by 2024. Remote work and other flexible working arrangements are likely to remain in some form post-pandemic, and people will take fewer corporate trips. Leisure trips or visits to friends and relatives tended to recover first in previous crises, but they had to recover to pre-financial crisis levels when COVID-19 broke out in 2020. As a result, we expect the rise in leisure travel to outpace the recovery of business travel as the pandemic fades. We're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel, even if the remaining bit of the tunnel is still long, while the economic fallout has no doubt been significant. We've not seen a crash in global markets, for example, and asset prices have continued to hold up. Corporate balance sheets are also relatively strong, so that's a good news amid the bad. We move on to economic part. The GLC's government-linked company have also played an important role in enabling SMEs and businesses to thrive in a variety of sectors and industries, particularly through their ecosystem and vendor programs. Khazanah's National Berhad, for example, created the Iskandar region that benefited many SMEs in property development. Corporates such as Axiata Group Berhad, Malayan Banking Berhad, CIMB Group Holdings Berhad, and the UMW Group have also successfully established themselves as regional players to be reckoned with, benefiting many other companies along the way. In fact, if government-backed agencies did not build strategic infrastructures such as highways, public transports, or the 5G network, the private sector would not invest in such projects on its own. Strategic investment like this have also paved the way for the rest of the private sector to enter new markets and businesses. Therefore, the Ministry of Finance has spent the last 18 months reorganizing and clarifying the GLC mandate to better complement the government's daunting task of reviving our pandemic-ravaged economy as quickly as possible. New growth ecosystems, turnaround assets strategy, and sustainable investment standards are amongst the initiatives. These initiatives will develop and implemented in accordance with the principle of systems thinking to minimize overlaps, maximize complementarily, and optimize public resources. That's all from me. I'm Danial Haiqal bin Saidi. Thank you.